Mason back in goal, looking to get win number 21 in the season after a tough game against the Anaheim Ducks. The Ducks peppered the Flyers goaltender and ended up eventually beating them. Flyers go up against Jonathan Quick, one of the top goaltenders in the National Hockey, U.S. Olympian this year, and one of the greatest athletes in goal. And the Flyers are going to have to really bear down against him.
Jeff Carter's first game against the Flyers. When Columbus came to Philadelphia, Jeff was injured. Then he was traded to Los Angeles. Of course, last year the East didn't play the West, so this is his first game against the Flyers. Yesterday, after practice, he said, hey, it'll be a little strange, but tried to downplay it. Mike Richards will play his second game against the Flyers. He assisted on the game-winning goal for the Kings in Philadelphia 2 seasons ago, and he said, that's 3 years ago, it's ancient history.
Right. And they got their Stanley Cup in between. And the LA Kings struggling right now, looking for some goal scoring, and I think they're more worried about their lack of production lately.
Might even be more special for Wayne Simmons as we look at Quick. He is on the ice. Wayne Simmons, Braden Shen as well. They're playing their first game. Shen only played 9 games with the Kings, but Wayne Simmons began his career here and really became established as an NHL player, as a King, and I tend to think it's going to be a special afternoon for him. So we're underway. The Flyers in their road whites, home dark uniforms for the Kings, as the Kings like to get on the forecheck here with their big forwards, and that's what they're doing right away. As Kopitar will backhand that one along. Carter is tied up, and they get the puck to Tyler Toffoli, the youngster. Back out to Robin Regehr, whose shot is blocked by Simmons. Flyer combinations at the top of your screen. Flyers without Kimmo Timonen in here. Lower body injury is day to day. He gave it a try in Anaheim. It's pretty clear he was struggling some with his mobility, and so he is out of the lineup. Andre Meszaros back in the lineup for Philadelphia.
The 10-minute rule is going to be in play here today, Jimmy, as this team, Los Angeles, is struggling to score goals. You know they're going to come out as hard as possible in this first part of the period.
Kings combinations at the top of your screen. And now we'll look at the scratches as that puck went into the Philadelphia bench. Flyers, as we said, without Timonen, Rosehill and Gill are coach's decisions. Alec Martinez out with an elbow injury. Fratton and Schultz are the decision of Coach Daryl Sutter, the Kings. And Coates's not kidding when he says they're struggling to score goals. As Craig Berube looks on, the Kings last 5 games, they've scored a grand total of 3 goals. Anze Kopitar has every one of them. So that means there's a lot of other players who we know have gone at least 5 games without a goal. They send one toward the net here, and you got to think they're going to be pushing and really trying to bear down in and around that net of Steve Mason.
It's really how they play. They play a real heavy game, and it's real difficult to get any space against them, so you're going to see a lot of the work in the corners. And you know, when you've got players that are struggling to score goals, then you're playing against them. You want to get the puck in their zone and force them to make decisions defensively.
No, they're spending a lot of time in the Flyers zone. Haven't gotten a shot or too many shots in on goal. Dwight King fires that one out. That's going to bounce toward the point. Justin Williams gets to it. He's checked by Giroux. The puck still in their skates, comes free. Richards had a crack at it, but now the Flyers have it. Meszaros to Mark Streit, and then out of the zone and down the ice. And in fact, none of those shots made it through to Mason, as the scoreboard shows goose eggs for both teams in the shot category. Braden Coburn cross ice to Grossman, and now it's Downey, and he'll fire one into the right of Quick. Back to get it is big defenseman Matt Green. He overskated. They send off the paddle of Quick, but Justin Williams able to get back, try to help out his goalie and defenseman, but the Flyers sticking with that. Matt Reed after it. Reed and Williams continue to swat away, and now Couturier takes a hit as he was hit by Green, but Reed comes away with the puck. Reed grabbed by Richards. Tucks the puck down low to Steve Downey. Downey was checked and coughed it up. It bounces back out to the point. There's Grossman. Grossman sending it right back in along the wall. Flyers have it again. Here's Reed. Centering. Couturier's shot goes wide. Bounces out in front. Quick sprawling to keep Downey away from it and cover up. That's some of the athleticism you will see from Jonathan Quick.
It's amazing how he goes across the ice, does the splits, and gets his leg in position to be able to keep that puck away from Downey, who was lurking. It's a nice pass from Matt Reed. It's a quick shot by Couturier, and there's Downey looking for that deflection back off the boards there, and look at the splits by Quick.
Quick didn't really get there. I mean, if you take a look at this, he was late. That puck was fortunate enough to come back into his pad. If it hit the pad, it was going in. Downey was right there, but he got drilled by Rolly Mitchell. Mitchell, a lot bigger, of course, than Downey to the right of the net there.
Puck down into the Philadelphia zone. Gustafsson will chop it out to the neutral zone. Zach Rinaldo in his second game back after missing 10 with that ankle sprain. A big hit as he rocks Kyle Clifford, who's a guy who will get up and he'll find Ronaldo, as Clifford likes to drop the gloves too, but actually here just sort of skates away from him. But Zach Ronaldo, who got under the skids of several Anaheim Duck players the other night, trying to do the same here today.
Yeah, it took Nick Bonino out of the game early, and now we've got an LA Kings penalty here.
Adam Hall got tripped up away from the play, and so the first call of the game will be a penalty against Los Angeles. Like Lego, Island Hebert are your referees.
And here's the contact by Ronaldo. Big, clean body check, and he just knocks Clifford down on that play.
And you know why Clifford didn't get upset? Because he knew that he had his head down. Oh yeah, he looked up for a second, then dropped the head again. And Ronaldo wasn't moving his feet, kept the shoulders down, kept the elbows down, did a good job.
So the penalty goes to Jordan Nolan, who then interfered with Adam Hall shortly after that hit. And the Flyers getting their first power play of the game. A lot of orange and black in the crowd here, and they've started up a Let's Go Flyers chant, which the LA patrons are not really enjoying as you have a look at the numbers. Puck sent down the ice. Mason keeping that across the goal line, but it didn't matter as the whistle had stopped play. 15 seconds into the power play, the Flyers have scored a power play goal in 5 consecutive games. There's your McDonald's power play payout contestant. Flyers 5 for 18 over those 5 games, and on the road 7th best in the NHL, 23.4%. But most people didn't remember the power play goal the other night as much as the shorthanded goal they allowed, which ties them with Edmonton for the most in the league, and there's concern there. The Flyers have to tighten things up a little.
There's no question. Well, there is some challenges with the Flyers power play. They've got 4 forwards that play up front, and one obviously slides back to the point as the conversations continue here with the linesman. Mark Streit will be that lone defenseman in the absence of Kimmo Timonen here this afternoon.
That last guy is so important because there's nobody behind you, so you've got to really make sure and bear down. That's why the other night that 2-on-1 the other way, and you know what? In the defense of Kimmo Timonen, that puck, the ice was very, very poor. I mean, fatigued terribly in the third period, and it's always to the advantage of the team that's got the lead.
Well, we don't have 164 remaining in the period. Our clock 2:04 is inaccurate, although it looks better than what's actually on the big screen here. It says 164 remaining in the first period. We obviously know
that was a fast first period, guys.
It really did. It flew by.
Whoa, that just flew by.
From a world with a different clock.
But in a building that has some of the biggest concerts you're ever going to see, as the Lakers, the Clippers, the Kings, they can't get it straightened out. Now we're up to 16:40 now, ready to go.
All right, let's get it going. Well, the Flyers return to the Wells Fargo Center this Thursday to face off against the Colorado Avalanche at 7. Great seats are still available, so call now for tickets, 215-218-PUCK.
And so, back to live action as the Flyers go back to get the puck. And it is Mark Streit moving up. Streit will drop it back to Claude Giroux. The slingshot into the zone, and he will wind it deep into the Los Angeles end. Kept in by Streit, and now Giroux will steer, looking for Simmons. Wayne Simmons knocked down, gets back up, and is able to play the puck along to Hartnell, and then back to Voracek. Across, Streit is replacing Timonen on this first unit. Gets it to Giroux, and then back to Streit right at the line. Across for Voracek. Voracek's quick shot. Save made quick. Simmons looking for the rebound, but there wasn't much to be had, and then he is grabbed a hold of there.
Smart decision by Jake Voracek, shooting that puck through a defender, knowing that Simmons was in front of that, looking for the deflection and providing the screen in front of Jonathan Quick.
Interesting watch. They let Simmons alone. Then all of a sudden he's going to have the opportunity to not only screen, but he nearly got a piece of that. Quick actually had to look between the legs of Simmons to pick up that shot.
Wayne Simmons sitting at 99 NHL goals. You got to know he'd love to get to the century mark against his first team in the league. The puck into the Philadelphia zone. Gustafson back, will drop it off for Braden Shen. Past the midpoint of this power play. Shen to Steve Downey getting power play time. He'll lob it into the right of Quick, but back there is Drew Doughty. He'll get it to the line, but kept in beautifully by Gustafson. Xavier could not come up with his pass. Downey knocks the puck down, but Richards able to play it to teammate Carter, who does eventually get it out of the zone and then works past Braden Shen. Carter moving up the left wing. Carter poke checked by Gustafson, but he's still got the puck. Jeff Carter doing a good job wasting time off the Philadelphia power play. Andre Mazaros getting time now in the second unit of that power play, which has 22 seconds remaining. That off Downey's stick. That'll drift in on Quick, and he will cover up.
Still 16 seconds left on this Flyers power play. A chance for another offensive zone face-off, and Greg Berube sends out Sean Couturier's line. Here's Gustafsson going one-on-one with Jeff Carter here, and Carter, with the great wheels he has, can beat you defensively, but Gustafsson plays it perfectly and just knocks the puck away without taking a penalty, and then tracked it down the second time.
That was right in front of me. You see where he got him? He actually got him to the goal line. That's what your goal is. If you get him to the goal line, he's got nowhere to be able to cut in. And Carter was on his backhand, so that's where the advantage is to Carter to be able to use his body and protect it. But boy, Gustafsson did a nice job keeping him to the outside.
Puck went up and out of play off of the ensuing draw. So now they'll have the face-off in neutral ice with the Kings back to full strength in 11 seconds. They drop the puck. Flyers gain control, and Grossman will blast it into the Los Angeles zone. Mitchell, the veteran defenseman, is back for it. A raffle in on him. The puck squirting out, and right there is Carter. And he will set sail for the Philadelphia zone. Grossman giving him a lot of room. Carter, the shot! That one takes off and goes high off the glass and all the way out to center. You have to respect his speed, but at the same time, you know he's got that howitzer of a shot as well.
I think the shot's more dangerous than the speed.
Yeah.
Down that right side.
He gave him a little bit too much room there, didn't he, Jonesy? He got to the dot.
So.
Oh, you don't want him shooting there.
Jake Muzzin keeps the puck into the zone. Now it's Grossman again. Flyers to deal with the forechecking of the Kings. Couturier checked by Toffoli, lost it, and here's Kopitar. Ajay Kopitar trying to barrel on in, goes around behind. Has a look, shuttles it off for Muzzin. Muzzin fired it back out through the blue paint. Drew Doughty is there. Back to his defense partner Muzzin. Now to Williams, who plays it to himself. Justin Williams then back out in front. Kopitar shot, save Mason. Flyers in trouble here. Toffoli steers to Williams. Williams shot, save Mason. To the other side of the ice, it's Doughty tipping it deeper, and now Grossman just ices it. And the Flyers are going to have to keep some tired players out on the ice surface.
Justin Williams with a couple of nice plays and tight. He's showing his skills in the offensive zone. And then one moving around a Flyer defender and had the setup here across, but Kopitar fires that, and Mason came up with a couple of saves. Toffoli would find it, and Williams would get another crack at it, and there's Mason to get a blocker on that one.
Well, Williams has been around. I mean, he's got a couple of Stanley Cups, and when you take a look at that opportunity there, he made the play from the one side and got to the other and get the shot on net.
This puck goes all the way down the ice. So it's icing. Face off back in the Philadelphia zone. Gives us a chance to tell you about staying up to date on your favorite Flyers playing in Sochi. The Winter Games. Get daily updates on Sportsnet every night at 6 and 10 on Comcast Sportsnet, in addition to keeping up with Keith Jones on NBC.
Correct.
Now, are you like learning how to speak Russian too, just so you can handle everything when you're on over there?
I am not.
Okay, good.
He has a translator.
I follow people around.
Here's Raffle dumping the puck into the Kings zone. Quick setting it up. And now they move the puck to Dustin Brown. He's the captain of the Kings. And he's second among all players in hits over the last 5 years. Always among the league leaders in body checks. Flyers steal the puck. Scott Hartnell moving in. Turned back by Robin Regeer. A scrum for it. Giroux joins in the scramble for the puck. And finally it pops free to Regeer in the corner. He'll go across ice to Justin Williams, and right back to Regeer. His pass knocked down by Giroux. Giroux will swing it around to the other side of the ice, but the Kings are on that. Slava Voynov, the defenseman, moving it ahead to Williams. He nearly lost it to Voracek, but the Kings have it back. 7 minutes in first period. Only 3 shots on goal thus far. 2 for the Kings, 1 for the Flyers. Stoll will move into the Philadelphia zone. Goes and gets the puck. Drops it back along. Trevor Lewis back across ice. Here's Doughty. Doughty holding, firing, gloves, save Mason. No further play. It remains scoreless early in LA.
And we'd like to welcome Zero Reds as the presenting.
Scoreless here. The LA Kings getting a few shots on goal on Steve Mason. He was outstanding a couple of games ago against the Detroit Red Wings, recording the shutout and the 5-0 win. You can see some of the acrobatic stops that Mason provided to his club. And then this afternoon, he started off hot again.
Well, this is Drew Doughty, one of the better offensive defensemen in the National Hockey League. He's a member of the Canadian Olympic team. Now watch this wrist shot, because what he's going to do is going to draw it to the middle. Right there, looking for the better angle. He's actually really upset. He thought he had it, but Mason, through that maze of legs in front of him, got the glove. Boy, that glove's active. I love that glove.
Steve Mason still among the top 10 in wins in the NHL as he picked up his 20th in that game against Detroit. The Flyers win the defensive zone draw, move it up through center ice. Jake Muzzin is back to get to it, slips it out to the neutral zone, but LeCavalier was there. He lost control of it. Goes after it along the boards, but the Kings able to play it back through the neutral zone. 11 hits here early on, pretty evenly distributed. Dwight King, the right wing feed. Lewis will dump it deeper into the Philadelphia zone. Getting there first is Wayne Simmons. His outlet off the skate of Braden Shen. And Stoll will play it across ice to Doughty, who rips it right back in. And there's that glove that Coatsy so loves, making the stop. Steve Mason, and he'll move it along to Mazaros, and now Shen across ice pass that was behind. Or actually, that was Raffl with the pass. It was behind LeCavalier, but we'll live to tell about it as they move it all the way down the ice. Raffl takes a heavy hit from Green, who will deliver some heavy hits. And the Kings have the puck. There's Nolan moving through center, lost it at the line. They say it's onside, and then Gustafsson crushed with a hit, but got the puck out to center ice. And the hitting's beginning to intensify. We showed you the 11 hits. I think there's been 5 or 6 since we showed you that.
And there'll be a couple more before this shift is done. Zach Rinaldo on the ice now for the Flyers.
Buckle your seatbelts. Here he comes. He's going after Green. Got the puck as well this time. Green goes back after Zach and ties him up in the corner. And the puck bounces free. And the Kings able to get control of it. And now it's moved out to center ice by Willie Mitchell. Luke Shen back to get it for Philadelphia. Finds Couturier, but he's got Mitchell to deal with, and the puck poked free by Carter. Jeff Carter in across the line. Slid the disc to Kopitar. Jay Kopitar able to control while being checked. Gets it back to Carter. Carter all the way out toward the line. Hands off to Regeer. Regeer for Kopitar. Kopitar centers. Tipped out of there by Mason. Back out shot. Voinov goes wide. Again, the Flyers have been on their heels here. Regeer sends it deep. This line of Kopitar to Foley and Carter. Spent some time in the offensive zone here early on. And here's Kopitar with room. Now Couturier closes on him. Back out Voinov. Shot goes wide. With traffic in front. Trying to clear the zone is Reed. Got it ahead to Downey. Now it's a 2-on-1. Downey with Couturier. Downey holds, fires high. Was all the way back to the point. Kept in there by Grossman behind the net. Couturier collides with Downey. The puck back to Grossman. He's hit by Carter. And now Couturier there. Got it to Downey. Downey trying to maneuver through traffic, but Carter takes the puck back for Los Angeles. And out to Foley from the red line. Will chip it in and head off on a line change. Flyers have to hurry here, though, because Justin Williams off the bench. Gets right in after strike. Grossman hands off to Voracek. He's bumped in center ice by Dustin Brown. Giroux steals the puck. Onside. Hit across the line. Giroux stripped from behind as Mike Richards took the puck away from him. You get the feeling Richards and Carter are up for this game. Here is Giroux in across the line. Giroux across ice. Voracek shot. Didn't get all of it. The save made by Quick. He was there in plenty of time. Now Richards. Through center ice. Mazaros intercepted, but Doughty gets it back. We passed the midpoint of the first period. 4 shots for the Kings, 2 for the Flyers. None have gone in yet. Here's Brown. Brown loses an edge in the corner as he's being checked, but better pick up the battle of Stoll. Former Oiler getting it back to Mitchell. Mitchell flipping one. That went wide of some traffic. Back out to Green for a shot. Deflected. Save rebound. Mason stops Lewis in tight. And now the Flyers move back the other way. Cross ice. Simmons looking for it. It's drifting toward the net. Reaching for that Flyers, but they could not get to it. Now it's back out to Luke Shen. His shot. Save. Quick rebound right out in front, but gobbled up by Lewis. Trevor Lewis the other way and across the Philadelphia line. The right wing feed to King. Dwight King's shot goes wide. Bounces out to Simmons, and Simmons will lob it to the neutral zone. Game started a little slowly, but now really good pace to it. There's Simmons with a steal. They're on. No, they're not. They're offside. Looked to be onside, but the whistle came late and play came to a halt. Time for our Gwinnett Mercy University game notes, as Team USA is named its captain for the upcoming Olympics, and plenty of news and notes from around the NHL. Zach Parise, great choice. Stan Bausma about how he's always the top player against the Penguins. Dustin Brown, Brian Suter are your alternate captains. Of course, Brown here in Los Angeles.
And around the league, some news. Mike Babcock earned his 400th career win. The Winnipeg Jets continue to roll under new head coach Paul Maurice. Shea Weber picks up 2 as the Predators defeat the Devils last night. And the Rangers sweep the Islanders 4-0, including a Wednesday night outdoor game at Yankee Stadium. And the Islanders look like they're in selling mode now as the trade deadline approaches.
Yeah, they're in serious trouble because they have so many teams they would have to climb over. And, you know, it might be deceiving early February, but there's not all that much season left. Teams are going to have 20 games and change really remaining after the Olympic break. So not that much season left to make up that kind of ground.
Right, and how many days till the trade deadline after the Olympics, right?
2.
Even fewer.
And out in front, Raffl trying to get to that puck. Now Adam Hall does the work along the wall. A guy who led all players in face-off winning percentage in the month of January. Back to Luke Schenn for a shot that goes wide behind the net. Hall fights to get to it. Tried to poke it out in front. He comes all the way through. Back out to Luke Schenn. Schenn will deal it in along the wall. Raffl could not come up with that. And now it'll be played by Fraser right into traffic along the boards. Coming away from Staples Center here in downtown Los Angeles. That's us along with our crew. Give you the best sights and sounds of this one as the Flyers try to even their record on this California road trip. No icing there. Is Clifford after the puck. But Nolan is there as well. Nolan, the son of the Buffalo head coach, interim head coach, Ted Nolan. Now the pass for Matt Reed and across the Los Angeles line. Reed's shot is deflected and it goes out of play. Good decision there by Matt Reed to try to throw that towards the net as the LA Kings had clogged up the middle. There was no passing lane there to find Sean Couturier. And the Flyers putting together a couple of good shifts in a row here. Again, the Michael Raffl line doing some good hard work down low, and now Couturier's line gets its crack to go at it in the King zone.
I tell you what, Raffl's done a nice job in the middle. It only played a little bit at Europe, but come over here on the smaller rink, it's still work. And got the goal the other night.
That's what he commented on after the game. He said, it's more work playing center.
Well, no kidding. You got to go down below the goal line in your own zone.
He wasn't complaining, mind you, just making an observation. Coburn after the puck here. Toffoli gets in on him. This has been the most effective line for the Kings thus far, but the Flyers are able to clear the zone this time. Willie Mitchell is back. Or Toffoli tips it into the Philadelphia zone. Couturier is there. Bouncing puck to Grossman. He's going to have to steer back the other way, and now it's going to be Toffoli the first to it. To Carter. Jeff Carter. Out to the point, Mitchell. Now rolls it back down low. There's Kopitar. Jay Kopitar. Good at controlling that puck in traffic. Gets it back to the youngster Toffoli. Toffoli trying to get that to Mitchell, but Downey steals and clears the zone.
Second time this period, Steve Downey has stolen the puck. The first one ended up with a 2-on-1 opportunity that he fired high and over the net.
Pass in the middle for Richards. He couldn't handle it. And Voracek's spin went off of Richards. They get it in across the line. It's Richards pulling his way through. Now turning, getting it back out to the point. Across it comes for Muzzin. They'll wind and fire. It's deflected into the slot area. Voracek is there, but didn't get much on his clear. Muzzin gobbles that up. His clear. Hit a body, bounces to Williams. Williams turning with it, dropping it back down. He shot it. It deflected and went wide. Now Williams after it again. Justin Williams checked though. Good work there by Giroux. And Hartnell will get to Mazzaros, and he'll wind it into the Los Angeles zone. Richards a big chop at that one. Makes his way toward Dustin Brown. Tipped away momentarily, but Muzzin gets it back and slides it out to center ice. Flyers get it back there as both teams are making changes. The 5:42 remaining in this first period. Claude Giroux looking back with it and finds Simmons. Simmons with speed in across the line, but he was 1-on-4. LeCavalier now. Line backhands, and there is Simmons trying to maneuver along the wall. Got it back out to the point. And the shot into the slot area. LeCavalier battling for it. Centered it back out in front. Nobody could get to it for Philadelphia. And the Kings move the other way. Dwight King. Aptly named. Got it to Voynov. He is knocked down and could not move forward. And the puck cleared out to Braden Schenn in center. Schenn looking for LeCavalier was tipped, and that made the play go offside. 5 minutes, 10 seconds remain. First period. Still looking for the first goal in this one.
Scoreless here, but some chances in the early going as the LA Kings. Justin Williams gets one on Steve Mason there. Downey in a 2-on-1 fires it up and over the glove, and then Trevor Lewis in front with a deflection. Mason had an answer for that one, and then the Flyers. Vinny LeCavalier going to work there with Braden Schenn climbing over the back of Jonathan Quick to find that loose puck.
7 scoring chances, 4 for the Kings, 3 for the Flyers here through the first 3/4 of period number 1. Quite a bit of by-play going on in the stands here. There are a lot of orange jerseys.
It's amazing, isn't it? And in Anaheim, a lot of Flyer chants during the game. I don't think the Duck fans appreciated that.
Philadelphia sports fans travel well, and we'll hear a "Let's Go Flyers" chant before this day is over.
We will.
Luke Schenn back to get the puck. Drops to Gustafsson, who takes another hit. One from Colin Fraser, who's another former Flyer in a way. He was a Flyer draft pick. Puck it off Adam Hall's stick. Regier and Hall pursue. Hall the body check. Puck hops free. Flyers have it momentarily. Ronaldo in tight quarters, though, could not move away, and Regier is able to move it along off Clifford. Luke Schenn there. Shot blocked by Fraser, and then out to center it goes, and Gustafsson will tuck it back in to the Los Angeles zone. Both teams will change players again, as Regier will move it back to Voynov. Very promising defenseman for this Kings club. Kings didn't appear to see that puck, but finally it does make its way to the neutral zone. Couturier back to Coburn. Across for Grossman. He'll pump it into the LA zone. Flyers try to chase. Couturier and Regier come together. Up the wall it goes to Carter. And Jeff Carter looking for the stretch pass, but it was knocked down by Grossman. He had Kopitar behind the defense, but Grossman knocked it down. And they'll move it to Kopitar in the middle. He hands off to Toffoli. Toffoli to the Philadelphia line. Quick shot and a save made by Mason. Toffoli gets to the carom, steers it to the other side of the ice. Reed is there. He's got some room to move up the boards with it. In center, it's poked free by Downey. Nice play there. He'll bounce it deep into the Los Angeles zone as again the teams change up. Obvious that Craig Berube wants the Couturier line out against the Kopitar trio. Now it's Richards. To the Philadelphia blue line and holds it deep. Justin Williams battling with two Flyers over there. Lecavalier turns it over. Dustin Brown the steal, and he's slashed. Penalty upcoming. Muzzin will wrist one. That goes off a Flyer, and Simmons will get to it to get the whistle. So the Kings will get their first power play of the game.
Well, Flyer season ticket holders can renew for next season and take advantage of the all-new Early Bird program. Renew now and select your own benefit packages filled with exclusive items and experiences. Call 215-218-4FAN to speak with a representative.
Well, the Los Angeles Kings are going to get their first power play. Now watch, Dustin Brown's going to wheel around and watch the stick of Mark Streit just right there. He's going to catch the area between the elbow and the glove. Now watch, right here, bang. Raider actually got him right around the actual glove, and he gave a little bit of a wave, and the referee was right there to make the call.
So we'll get our first look at the Kings power play. It has been a problem area for them pretty much all season, but in particular of late. You see 28th rank. Flyers penalty kill back up into the top 10. Kings 1 for 22 in their last 6 games with a man advantage. Off the draw, Couturier moves it to the point, but not out. Richards is there to the slot, but the Flyers are waiting for that, and Coburn in the backhand is able to clear, roll it all the way down and in quick. So Muzzin will start up. Muzzin has a heavy shot at the point, as does Doughty. Muzzin getting into the zone, but surrounded by Flyers, coughed it up, and then Grossman cleared, but not all the way down. Muzzin was right there. He'll drop it to Doughty. They end up going back behind the net anyhow.
Jarrett Stoll was playing the point originally. He raced off the ice with an equipment issue. It surprised Drew Doughty, who wasn't expecting to get out on the ice that soon on the power play. And the Kings have looked a little discombobulated here to start.
Well, they've done a great job, the Flyers, of being able to not allow the Kings into the zone. Muzzin, he carried it into the zone. I think he got a little excited, tried to be 3 more people when he did get across the blue line.
Another nice play there made by Luke Schenn. Disrupted the rush, making the play go offside. 1:10 still remaining on the power play. Time for today's Jeep Trivia question of the game. There's so much trading going on between these clubs. How about Kings general manager Dean Lombardi? He was with the Flyers back between 2003 and 2006. What position did he hold? Assistant GM, pro scout, or director of player development? We also, of course, have John Stevens, assistant coach with the Kings, who was the head coach for the Flyers. So there's just all kinds of trading places going on between these two clubs. Another good play by the Flyers at the line. Luke Schenn broke that pass up. 52 seconds remain on the Kings power play. Here's Kopitar. It's in across the line and then rolls it around. Carter to it. Shuffles it back out. Doughty Dowdy, a little wrist shot, and getting his stick in on that one was Raffel to deflect it out of play.
Real good job by the Flyers so far on this penalty kill. Most of the work in keeping the Kings away from their offensive entries, and then Raffel does a nice job blocking that shot.
Only the Sabres have scored less per game than the Kings this year in the NHL. We told you those problems have intensified here of late, in particular. 2 or less in 15 of their last 19 games. But there's too much talent on hand here. There's Dowdy, part of that talent, who will get the puck to Muzzin. Muzzin, a shot blocked, and Reed a chance to clear. He's going to skate it a while and then shovel it down the ice. Wouldn't you agree, Jonesy? Too much. I know they play a defensive system, but too much offensive talent for these numbers to continue.
Without question. And there's not a team in this league that wants the LA Kings in the playoffs, because they'll be real difficult to beat in the series.
Carter's shot, and Mason able to deny. Again, Carter got some room, and Mason had all he could do there to get his stick and body on that. He did. Now the Flyers steal the puck. Reed will clear it all the way down, and the power play 5 seconds from being over.
I think Carter tried to fool him that time. Usually he looked to shoot high, pull the sides. And that time he actually went for the 5-hole, and Mason had to recover very quickly.
Couturier shot deflects and goes out of play after he stole the puck.
Here's Carter's opportunity. Again, down the wing on that right-hand side. And there's Mason just closing that 5-hole in time, and Couturier stealing one at the other end after the puck battle was won against Jake Muzzin. Dowdy got his stick in the way of that one.
Kings clear the zone off the ensuing draw. Mazzaro's back, and he'll play it back through center. They will say no icing here, so the Kings have to play the puck. Green up the wall. Strike trying to pinch to keep it in as he and Brown come together. Voracek got his stick on it. Got it to Hartnell, who finds Giroux. He was tightly marked, though, and the Kings get it back. There is Matt Green, who played in 5 games last year due to a back injury, part of a very physical defense.
He hits hard. As Ronaldo does for the Flyers, Green will reciprocate for the Kings.
Get the puck this time and find Lewis. Trevor Lewis doing well. His shot blocked off by Grossman, but Lewis will be the first to it. And he gets sandwiched by Voracek and Grossman, but the puck picked up by King, who's left alone. King back out, Dowdy shot, and that one kicked out of there. Bounces back out to Regeer. Now into the corner, Grossman, a good hit there. The puck go back out to Regeer. He'll take the shot. Save made by Mason with heavy traffic around him, and no further play. That one would have been a backbreaker with just seconds remaining in the period.
Heavy traffic was the key, and Dowdy had heavy traffic in front as well as he fires the quick shot here, and it goes off the shin pad of Jarrett Stoll, who's in front of that, setting up the screen right off his leg there, and then another one to follow.
And the other thing is the Flyers are doing a lot better job of fronting Mason. They're allowing him an opportunity to at least see the puck, and they're blocking an awful lot of shots, because the other night the Anaheim Ducks had a lot of leeway right in front of Mason using their size, but the Flyers doing a better job of clearing that area tonight. This afternoon, rather.
8 blocked shots already for the Flyers as Muzzin turns it to the corner. Flyers have it there, and that's how the first period comes to an end. Goose eggs on the board. Quick faced 4 shots, stopped them all. Mason turned 8 offerings away by the Kings. No score after 20 minutes of play. Today's Flyers Kings first period was brought to you by Mazda. We believe if it's not worth building, it's not worth driving. If it's not worth driving, it's not worth building is what I'm trying to say. Also brought to you by Power Back Rehabilitation. Gives patients their power back by getting them home sooner. And by Supercuts. Check out supercuts.com to find a convenient salon location near you. Rock the cuts at Supercuts. John Boric and Al Morganti will analyze the first period. No score after 1. Kings Flyers. Teams make their way back out onto the ice surface here. Well, we talked about the game in Anaheim, guys, how physical it was, and obviously the first period here was physical. And most of the Flyers players were talking about how they really liked that physical nature of that game the other night.
And some ice time leaders from teams in that first period. Sean Couturier out there a lot against that Kopitar line. Kopitar, the only King that scored in the last 5 games, so Craig Berube trying to slow him down, and Drew Doughty, of course, leading in minutes on both teams. He's out there in special team situations and continues to be the Kings' most dominant defender.
Yeah, Drew Doughty always among the league leaders in minutes per game. Well, those horses back there. Sean Couturier sporting the beard. He says he's going to let that thing grow to the end of the playoffs.
Is that right?
So if the Flyers have success the way the fans want him to, that thing's going to be...
Oh my gosh.
He'll be a guest on Duck Dynasty.
Exactly right. Yeah, he said, why? He said, I just feel like it. Feel like letting it go. Playoff beard early.
Well, let's take a look at our Geico quote coming off that loss to the Anaheim Ducks the other night. Matt Reed basically said, okay, we came out in this trip. You really want to just, like, go home one above 500, which means 2-1. So you learn from it, and you move forward, and you just go out tonight or this afternoon, and hopefully you do a good job and learn from the other night against the Ducks, against the Kings here.
All right, so underway here in the second period. Straight to the puck for Philadelphia, even strength hockey to start this second stanza. Puck down into the Kings zone. Quick will play it back along the wall, and now Doughty ahead. And Carter looking for Kopitar. Bounce to Muzzin, back to Kopitar. Now the Kings go offside at the Philadelphia line. You know this is a team pressing with Kopitar having been the only guy to score in the last, well, I guess you could do the math. It would be 16 periods of hockey now.
They don't cheat, though. They don't cheat the defensive side of the game, even though they are slumping in the goal-scoring department. Daryl Sutter deserves a lot of credit for that. The attention to the details of the defensive side have been there for LA, but when you're not scoring, and with some of the talented players that they have up front, it's really shocking to see some of the struggles and how many guys are in extended slumps.
You remember in their Stanley Cup year, they went through a stage like that. They made the Carter trade. And actually, Jeff struggled a little early on, but it seemed the trade itself got the team going.
And they made a coaching change, too, right?
Yeah, the coaching change then as well. And it all worked out, didn't it?
It's amazing. Their captain was being rumored to be on the trading block at that time, Dustin Brown. And this year, it's a little different. You don't hear the same rumblings, but the team has some of the same struggles.
And the Flyers, and after Giroux takes a heavy hit from Regeer.
Oh, he didn't like that either. He didn't. He got it bad. Regeer caught him right at the last minute, and he went in real hard against the wall.
Now Justin Williams at the other end of the ice overskates as he's hit by Grossman. So the physicality picks right back up. Pass attempt there by King. Now it bounces back to him. And Dwight King given some room by Hartnell. Go back around behind the net and now bank it back out toward the point, but it's intercepted by Voracek. He and Giroux head toward the LA zone, but the pass to Giroux was in very heavy traffic, and he could just get his stick on that. He was at the end of his shift anyhow. So he goes to the bench, and Doughty starts back up. Drew Doughty to Lewis. Lewis all the way around behind the Philadelphia net. Back out the other side, pursued by Braden Shen. Drops it off for King. And now it's Lewis again. Up to the point. The shot is easily denied by Mason. The puck sitting behind Luke Shen. He did not see it as he was all tangled up with Stoll in front. Now Braden Shen battling for it. Lewis turns it deeper into the corner. Luke Shen will go around to Eric Gustafsson. Gustafsson now the plus-minus leader for the Flyers. Moves it ahead to Wayne Simmons. Simmons stopped by Muzzin. Muzzin will get it to Doughty. Moves it quickly ahead. And now Alan Fraser will play it deep into the Philadelphia zone. He and Gustafsson come together. The puck out the other way. Jordan Nolan is off the bench to play it, but he's quickly checked. Sprite got a hold of him. Simmons battling as well, but now Fraser picks it up. Alan Fraser out to the point. Willie Mitchell just flips one that's batted away by Simmons. Clifford after Simmons and causes a near turnover, but the puck got through, and the Flyers move up. Braden Shen, left wing feed for Ronaldo, and he'll play it deeper into the Los Angeles zone. Almost 3 minutes into this second period now. More of the same. Really difficult to find a lot of room to work with out there as Mitchell will send it off the boards into the Philadelphia zone. Strike measured and hit on the play by Toffoli, and now whistle stops play.
Face-off will stay in the Flyers zone. It was Adam Hall that flipped the puck up. It hit a LA King before it went off the ice. Here's the contact right here from Robin Regeer on Claude Giroux. The push from behind there. Giroux went in awkwardly.
Right at the last second. Now watch, Giroux's going to cut right in front of Regeer, and then bang, he gets a shove right at the last second. He's in that very, very perilous 2 feet, 2.5 feet away from the boards, and bang, he goes head first in, and he was not a happy camper.
Kings have taken the advantage in the hits. 35 of them total. Here's Toffoli up the wall. Regeer across. Voinov was to Carter. Quick little pass. Turnaround shot by Toffoli, and the save made by Mason. Grossman had his man checked at the corner. Now Toffoli will backhand to Kopitar. Kopitar all the way out toward the line with it. On the backhand, he'll shuffle it down low. Toffoli is there. Cycle game on for the Kings. Flyers try to interrupt it, and they do. Coburn steals the puck. Good hit from Grossman helping him along the way. Downey a pass to a covered Couturier. That's a turnover, and it's kept in. Regier will play it into the corner. Carter for Kopitar. He could not come up with that. Couturier does. On Couturier. Cross. Grossman tried to go through center. That's snuffed out by Kopitar. They're onside and across the line. Wrist shot gloved by Mason, and he will squeeze it.
Good time for a whistle there as the Flyers turned the puck over twice on that last shift with Andrei Kopitar on the ice. Not the formula that Craig Berube wants to see. And Mason makes that save. Here's the Couturier play across to Grossman, then he turns it over right there as there was nobody to outlet that puck to, and ends up with a long shot that Mason smothers.
When in doubt, go outside. When that pass came from Grossman inside the blue line, he's looking at a lot of traffic in the neutral zone. A lot easier just to go to the outside.
Lou Downey to the puck for a shot through heavy traffic. Didn't get through that traffic. And now Giroux trying to dance out to center ice with it. He has to circle back. Now the stretch pass for Voracek, but he's wrapped up by Muzzin. Number 6, black jersey Jake Muzzin, pretty impressive player. They've had a couple guys, Muzzin and Voinov, develop in their system, and they've really become key parts of their defense core.
And Muzzin, a big guy too, with some offensive skills as well. He's out there, with Drew Doughty on a lot of occasions.
There's Simmons, a shot, save made by Quick. Just the 5th save he's had to make in this game. Simmons denied.
Well, the Adirondack Phantoms will play a second game this month at the Wells Fargo Center on Saturday, February the 22nd. It's a 7:30 start against the Bridgeport Sound Tigers. Catch American Hockey League action during the Olympic break in Philadelphia.
Good shot there by Simmons. He's going to use Muzzin as a screen to try with a right-hand shot just to go to the inside between the body of Quick and the left post, but Quick had that quick glove there. And that was an accident to use that as an action.
The Phantoms won today, by the way, as they played at Wells Fargo Center. 4-1 victory over Hershey. Kyle Morgan getting double duty today.
He's a hard-working man.
Color analyst in that game, and now pre-post and in between periods analyst of this game.
Yep.
Got it all covered. Offside the call at the Los Angeles line. Almost 5 minutes into the second period. The Flyers only have 5 shots on goal. So Craig Berube wants them to start generating a little bit more. And they just haven't had the cycle game of the time in the offensive zone.
They haven't. And when they've got it into the offensive zone, the Kings have been there to hit first and have a second player come and pick up the loose pucks. Flyers want to do a better job on the cycle plays in the offensive zone and see if they can't wear down a little bit of the Kings defense.
It is not shocking to see an opponent here at Staples Center struggle in terms of getting shots. They allow 23.5 shots per game to opponents. That's the lowest in the NHL for a home team.
Interesting on the rush when the Flyers had an opportunity. I think it was Giroux that was darting through the middle. There's a King forward always coming back through the middle of the ice. Makes it very difficult to get 3-on-2s.
There's a shot, and we're trying to fight that off from Adam Hall. And really, this is the line that has spent the most time in the offensive zone for the Flyers. The Raffle, Hall, Ronaldo trio. Kings will move it up this time as Fraser barreled into by Ronaldo, who had 3 hits in the first period. Zaros will turn that puck to strike. Started having a little difficulty with a rolling puck. Got it to Ronaldo. Ahead for Raffle, and now Hall. Hall will flip one quick as it bounced past him. Hall leans on Regier. Flyers are changing, so the Kings have time, although off the bench is Reed to get a piece of that pass. Now Regier to Voinov. And for Nolan, was rink wide, that's deflected and then taken by Downey. It's hit off his stick deep into the Los Angeles zone. He'll chase with Regier, but Downey wipes out. Couturier in, back around, past Downey to the other corner. Nolan there. Downey wrestling with him, and the puck winds up on Gustafson's stick at the red line. Coburn to Couturier. He tipped it, but it's Voinov over to get to it for Los Angeles. Slava Voinov, a big contract from the Kings after playing well for them last year. They've gotten back here to Foley to Carter. Coburn able to sweep it away from his former teammate. They go to the boards together behind that. Toffoli could not dig it free. Coburn Got his third crack at it, got it to the corner boards, but Kopitar was there. Back out to Mitchell for a shot, blocked by Reed. Gets it to Couturier. Flyers try to move up here. They have 4-on-3 numbers, but just could not do much with it. Reed will just try to chop that one deeper into the Los Angeles zone, and the Kings have it back. Here is Green, surveying as he moves up. His pass on the money to Kopitar. Kopitar holds and then fires, and it's blocked, and it goes out of play. 13-17 remaining. Second period, still scoreless.
Take a look at our Wells Fargo great check of the game. Kyle Clifford drops his head just for a split second, trying to protect the puck. And Zach Ronaldo, who of course missed 10 games and is well rested, he got a lot of them. And that is our Wells Fargo great check of the game, as Ronaldo just absolutely hammers Kyle Clifford.
That's not any way to treat your former junior teammate, is it? Those two were teammates for a couple seasons in the OHL at Barrie.
I wondered why Clifford didn't react differently.
I did too.
I figured he'd be chasing him around the ice, but he didn't. He accepted it.
I said he likes to drop the gloves. He got the number, and then he didn't do anything. So I was surprised. That might be why. But I can't imagine he's happy with it, though.
What you're saying is that Clifford respects him as a former teammate, and Zach doesn't care.
Yeah, maybe Zach just wanted to test him. He tested his patience, and it worked. This will be icing against Philadelphia. Drew dove to try to keep it from being an icing, but could not make contact with the puck. So all the way down back into the Philadelphia zone it goes.
As he dove for that puck, Kopitar's stick was kind of on the side of his leg. Kopitar thought Giroux was trying to dive to draw a penalty at the time, but he was only diving to try to avoid the icing call as Kopitar heads over to the Kings bench.
Jay Kopitar has been sort of Mr. Clutch for these Kings. He scored 2 overtime game winners and 4 shootout game winners.
He's smooth. He's as smooth as it comes in this game.
Muzzin sliding that puck in along. Giroux is there, hard up the wall for Voracek, but Muzzin takes him. The ice actually was Voracek taking Muzzin to the ice. The Kings wanted a penalty, but they're not going to get it. Muzzin again was right there to interrupt Voracek as the Flyers are trying to break out of the zone. Now it's Doughty with the pass to Mike Richards. Richards sliding that one ahead, hoping for Dustin Brown, but Flyers had other ideas. They sent it back through center ice. Doughty across. Muzzin rink wide feet tip, and Giroux's able to get to it. Giroux holds on, his pass all the way across. In front, here's Simmons. He scores! Wayne Simmons gets his 100th National Hockey League goal against the team he started with, the Los Angeles Kings. It's 1-0 Philadelphia. Simmons scores for a case of Tasty Cakes, and you can bet he'll remember that one.
And Claude Giroux just picked up the puck for him. Giroux had a lot to do with Simmons getting his 100th goal. An outstanding play by Claude Giroux, and an even better play by Vincent Lecavalier as he smartly sold the shot and sent the pass across. Right there's the fake, and there's the pass. Wayne Simmons had a couple moments to think about his 100th goal as he put it in.
Did he ever?
Maybe
think,
too long, Percy.
I think he was a little surprised he was going to get that one from Lecavalier, because, as Jonesy said, he sold it. Let me tell you, I thought he was going to shoot the puck, and all of a sudden, here's Simmons with a wide open net, and he's just trying to grab onto the puck.
He's just going to say pause for dramatic effect.
Yeah.
He gets his 18th of the year, team leading total. 100th of his career. Lecavalier and Giroux, the helpers at 7:48. Look out, though. Here's Kopitar. Kopitar trying to center to Carter. It's broken up. And the Kings' most effective line goes right back to work. Toffoli's shot, and that was knocked away with Carter standing nearby. Carter gets it back to Toffoli. His pass snuffed out by Simmons. He'll start back 2-on-2. Coming late on the play is Schenn. Simmons trying to get him the puck. Schenn reaching for it, but couldn't do anything with it. Now he's centered, goes off a quick, all the way out to Streit. Streit holds on, and then backhand gets it to Braden Schenn. His pass for Simmons tipped, and Quick will jump on top of it at the side of the net.
Nice job defensively by Wayne Simmons, and down in Steve Mason's end, the goal was at the other end, and Jonathan Quick, no chance, as you can see the play by Vinny Lecavalier. And there's Simmons, gathered in, didn't force it, waited, got himself in perfect position to put it in the empty net.
Part of the package, of course, that came east for Mike Richards. And this year, at least, he's obviously outscoring Mike in the goals category. Mike has the assists advantage, and that makes sense. Simmons more of a guy who will get in front, score goals, and Richards more of a distributor of the puck.
Got to give a lot of credit to Claude Giroux in that goal, too, because he's going to put the brakes on and wait for help. That help is going to be Couturier, and somehow Simmons, nobody picked up Simmons.
Kings win the draw, and Mitchell will clear the zone. Stride on the second attempt. Bats it ahead. Downey will bounce it deep into the Los Angeles zone. Reed pursues Green, but it's Mitchell up the wall off of Downey. And now Trevor Lewis through center. Lewis is up on his skates in this game. His shot here blocked off by Mazzaros. Couturier in the middle. Downey. Reed got upended on the left wing boards, and now Downey will just flip one that's gloved by Quick. I'm not sure if he ran into the official or he was knocked down.
Both. The official was standing there, and Matt Reed made contact with the King defender and the linesman at the same time.
Monday night over on the Comcast Network. Tune in to see an offensive juggernaut in the San Jose Sharks as they take on the Flyers. Oh, Giroux battling Logan Couture, perhaps. He's been out with an injury. Flyers at the Sharks. Total coverage starting Monday night at 10 only on the Comcast Network. The Sharks had a couple of upsetting losses here of late, too, but boy, that's a talented team.
And returning home, you know they're going to be hungry. They are one of the best home teams in the National Hockey League.
Have been for quite a while. Flyers win the draw here. Although just trying to get that puck deeper into the LA zone. Back out it goes on the other side. Gustafsson couldn't keep it in. Good work by Raffl to get back, though, and keep Fraser away from it, and the Flyers regain the puck. The pass finds Hall and across the LA line. Just pushes it deeper. Fraser there takes a hit from Ronaldo as he gets the disc to Regeer. It's taken back by Raffl, who steals it again, jams it deep into the zone, and Doughty forced to go back and get it. Now Regeer to Clifford. Takes another hit from Zach Ronaldo, and again just looks the other way. Fascinating.
I guess he can take a hit to make a play.
There is Clifford along the wall. He can do that. But
yep.
He'll also drop the gloves.
He will.
At least try to hit Ronaldo back. Hasn't shown that so far in this one. Now Voracek shot, save made by Quick. Hartnell tried to tuck it deep, but Clifford intercepts. Plays it diagonally out to the neutral zone. Grossman's there looking for Giroux, who couldn't control it initially, but now tips it beautifully to Hartnell. Hartnell trying to center. It's blocked, comes back to him. He'll send one in and go. Save the rebound. Hopped over Voracek's stick. He had a lot of net to shoot at. And now Williams the other way. Trying to work it through Coburn, and he does. Got it deep into the zone. Grossman there, and now Giroux ahead, and moving on up with it is Downey. Downey left wing feed for Coburn. Coburn looking for the trailer. It was behind Hartnell. Now back out it goes. Shot Mazzaros deflected off his stick and then the glass. Downey gets tangled up with Quick. It's all good, they say, as the Kings move back the other way, and Green will wind it deep into the Philadelphia zone. Goes off the stick of Mason into the air and then the corner. Kings changing. Flyers have a little time here, and they used all of it as they get it out to center. Reed to Downey, and he stopped at the line. Back to center. Mazzaros will stop it to Stride, and now he'll spin it ahead. Toffoli got in the way of that. Kopitar leading the rush hit. Kopitar shot. Save Mason. Rebound. Carter after it with Kopitar and Stride. Now it's Couturier ahead. Simmons could not come up with that. Toffoli does, but his pass snuffed out by Couturier. Couturier will pass it laterally along the line to Mazzaros, and the Flyers get organized. 8:27 remaining, second period. 1-0 Philadelphia lead here from Staples Center. First visit here since December of 2010 for the Flyers. Mike Richards had 4 points that night for the Flyers. There's Grossman playing it back. Now Coburn ahead, and it's swung deep into the zone by LeCavalier. Simmons to Hartnell now, or make that Shen and LeCavalier overrun along the boards. Regeer gets it ahead to Voinov. The right wing dish. Here's Carter. Carter drop past Kopitar. Carter driving the net. The puck goes back to Voinov. He was being pestered by LeCavalier. Now the shot by Muzzin. Save Mason. Rebound right out in front. They jam for it and it squeezes wide. Now it's King making it back out to Muzzin. Muzzin to the slot. Carter directs it toward the net. Mason will gladly gobble that puck up and get the whistle. Pressure from the Kings, but the Flyers at the other end of the ice lit the red lamp. Wayne Simmons, number 100, has the Flyers on top.
Well, a big key in this hockey game has been block shots, and that's our independence. Blue Cross fearless plays of the game. Now watch. If you get in front of a shot, yeah, you got to be fearless. Right here, Luke Schen's going to catch that one. It appears right in the belly. And then Matt Reed, he's going to get this one in the chest. And it looks like he's all right. He skates flying back down the ice. But right there, you can see him crawling over the boards. Both of them back, ready to go. Matt Reed on the left and Luke Schenn on the right.
That is the price you pay. 13 blocks for the Flyers in this game. Might have to block another one here as the Kings win the draw. The side angle try denied by Mason, and he casually poked it back out. The Flyers have it. Over and flipping through center. That's intercepted. Dwight King back into the Philadelphia zone. Diagonally into the corner. Lewis spots it behind the net. Grossman checked there. Lewis able to get to King. Now it's Lewis the shot. Mason ready for it. And he'll swallow that one up and take the whistle. Kings beginning to put some more pressure on here the last couple shifts.
And every time they do, Mason seems to make a save and hold on to it and force a face-off and allow the Flyers to get a different unit on the ice, forcing Daryl Sutter's hand and his selection of who he puts out against Sean Couturier's line here. And it's looking like he wants the Richards line versus Couturier more than he did the Kopitar line in the first period, where he seemed to be okay with that. Now that the Kings are down a goal, he's kind of changed his plan.
Well, the best coaches are the ones that make adjustments, right?
Very true.
Within games. There is Reed now sending that puck in. And there's a quick change now. There's Schenn and Simmons. And Lecavalier come out on the ice. Luke Schenn. Gustafson up the wall. Tried to clear but could not. It's kept in by Williams. Collier get another crack at it. He'll try the other side of the ice. Brown. And to get that back to Voinov, and he does. Voinov a shot. It went off a stick and wide out the other way, and it's Gustafson. And he'll try to scoop this one to the neutral zone, and he's successful, and down the ice it goes. 19 total shots in this game. And we have just 6:23 remaining in the second period. This is a Kings kind of game. They don't give up many goals, and certainly of late they don't score many either. Well, Mason, great job of retrieving that puck, and he does clear. It went right past Mitchell, so no icing. Matt Green will have to play this. He'll get it to Mitchell. Mitchell takes a hit from Reed, but got the puck back to Green. Green then put that one up into the Los Angeles bench. Less than 6 to play in the second. Flyers 1-0 lead. Flyers with the lead here. It's been a busy stretch for the Kings, and it all included part of the Coors Light Stadium Series. And that one was the Dodger Stadium. I think this has been the best of them so far this year. It was just a great event. And the Kings, unfortunately, in this game ran into the Anaheim Ducks, who won the game 3-0. As the Kings had a lot of shots in that game, had the territorial edge, but the Ducks get the victory. It was a great atmosphere. You had the fireworks. Vin Scully was on hand. The USC marching band. Wayne Gretzky. It was a great night.
Volleyball, yoga. They had it all going there.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It really was cool.
Volleyball on the other side of the ice.
Yeah, even Daryl Sutter, who doesn't smile a whole lot, did say it was a great event, even though his club lost.
Well, he's a big Kiss fan, so he liked that part of it.
Hey, like Gene Simmons. He was really getting into that.
These guys are huge. They should have been hockey players, not musicians.
They got some.
Is that the boots? It's a high heels?
Helps, yes.
Thanks for that, because I thought they were about 10 inches taller than JR, and I'm like, man, those guys are big.
Keen sense of observation that you have there, Jones.
That's funny.
So Daryl Sutter's a Kiss fan, huh?
Oh, he loves them. Yeah.
Okay. All right. There's something new every day. Face off to the left of Steve Mason. And it's Kopitar. Back out to Green, across, and that could not be handled by Mitchell. So the Kings will have to go to work back in the neutral zone. Flyers pestering them there, and Kopitar, who's led this team in points each of the last 6 seasons, has the puck again. Roaring up through center. His pass for Carter tipped, and it made it offside. Out of town scores, upper right-hand corner. There's already been 3 afternoon games. In fact, that one in progress almost over as Colorado's putting a beating on Buffalo. In that game, Ryan Miller giving up at least 4. I don't know if he was pulled after that point. And we bring in the name Ryan Miller because Jonathan Quick and he will be teammates for Team USA in a week or so. Which one gets the start?
I think Ryan Miller will start game 1. And based upon how well he played in Vancouver, helping the U.S. team to a silver medal.
And he's had a great year.
He's played very well. But I think Quick's in net by the time that tournament's over. The big games.
Okay. Yeah, because you have your early games that are not must win, and then you get to the single elimination. And that's when you'll have your best in there, and we'll get to see who Dan Bylsma actually thinks is his best.
For me, it's Quick. And the U.S. team is going to have some challenges at the Olympics, and their goaltender is going to have to steal in some games. The Canadians and the Swedes and the Russians, all stacked.
Superior offensive talent with those clubs. And a lot of it can be chemistry and how they all fit together as a team, too. It'll be an interesting tournament for sure.
Well, Jones, are you saying that Miller's going to have a clunker along the way?
No, I just think that Quick's the better goaltender and the better choice.
Okay.
We shall see. It all begins in less than 2 weeks as the Flyers clear the puck into Los Angeles zone. 4:23 remaining in this second period. The shots counter on the scoreboard here is wrong. It's not 19 total shots, 11-8. It's 17-8, I've been told. And so 17-8 the shots advantage. Our graphics have it correct. They just have it wrong on the big scoreboard here at Staples Center. Lewis shot there. Save made. Mason rebound. Flyers can't find the puck. It goes back out to Muzzin. Muzzin will flip one. That's knocked down in front. Well, the Kings are getting more and more traffic in and around Steve Mason now, and those point shots are becoming dangerous. On the boards, they battle and they win the battle. It's King to the puck. Dwight King, side of the net. Lewis spinning out in front, got the shot up, and it just missed as Mason was leaving the post. Now King has it. King twisting and turning, trying to go out the other side. Center shot, why not save? Mason rebound shot. Save, where's the puck? Mason's down. No whistle. Still no whistle. It's off to the right of the net, evidently. And finally, play is stopped. Oh, Flyers very fortunate. They were on their heels. The Kings were charging. Mason had at least one good save in there. I'm not sure if the second one got through. Probably two great saves in here that we'll be able to spot, but he keeps the Flyers on top. There's that guy right there.
Scramble. That's what you had going on there as the Kings just started winging pucks towards the net and whipping around the net with players going. And Voynov fired that shot there. Mason, an outstanding save on the first shot, and then a second opportunity that he's able to kick aside.
Well, Stoll's right in front. He's causing all the problems. He actually had a real good opportunity, and Mason makes a right here, a great save on Stoll where the puck comes right onto his stick, and that right pad just flew out. Now, here's the key. Give Mike Lego a lot of credit because he didn't blow that down because he was right there to be able to see the puck.
3 saves in that sequence by Steve Mason. Kings right back at it now. Brown checked by Coburn. Richards trying to sneak out in front. Lost the puck. Now the Kings really coming hard here late in the second period. Flyers have got to step it up. Up to the other corner. Simmons rams into Muzzins. That forces the puck free, and they turn it over. Shot goes wide by Brown. Flyers get it back. It's Simmons. They are pinned in their zone right now. Wayne Simmons could not do anything with that. The pass, though, is tipped away and finally relieved the pressure. Now it's Simmons winning the race to the puck. Simmons in front for Braden Shen, and he couldn't get the puck to settle for him. Now Simmons gets it back. Passing the slot. LeCavier down low. Shen. Oh, quick flashing across. That one didn't go. And now Shen knocked down. And Doughty will get the puck toward center, and it bounces out. And they'll move up with it. Here's Justin Williams holding. Trying to center. That hit a Flyer up high. Gustafson. He's staying on the ice, and Braden Shen will lob one out through center.
Wow, what a save by Jonathan Quick there, and then a big hit by Mike Richards on Braden Shen. That should have been interference. The referees missed it.
And now they move on into Foley. Lost the puck just as he was getting ready to shoot. 2:08 remaining in this second period. Reed and Carter battle. Holds free to Kopitar. Kopitar for Toffoli, giving room. The shot. Save made by Mason, and he will hang on. Tyler Toffoli, 21 years of age. They're hoping he can become one of their scorers. At the other end, they know they're going to get saves from this guy.
Another pretty passing play with Vinny Lecavalier involved. Behind the back, backhand pass right to the tape of Shen. And there's Jonathan Quick going splits post to post.
Wow. That was going. No doubt about it.
Simmons, a nice job on the forecheck, and then you can see the play by Lecavalier, but the better play made by the goaltender of the LA Kings.
Flyers that close to having both of the ex-Kings on the board in this game, but Quick had other ideas. Now the draw to the left of Mason. He's had his share of sparkling stops here in the last 4 or 5 minutes. Let's get to it. Toffoli Down low, Kopitar trying to get away from Grossman, and he does. Kopitar's pass hit Grossman's skate. Carter is there. Carter making it back to Toffoli. It's a game of keep away right now. Toffoli holding on, flipping one, finds Carter. He's denied by Mason. Yet another huge save by Steve Mason, who is the biggest reason right now why the Flyers are still on top in this game. Toffoli to the line, crunched by Couturier. Wow, Sean Couturier. Perhaps the best hit of his NHL career right there. He steamrolled the youngster. Now Regeer ahead. Kopitar to Carter. And he goes. The pass across. And Giroux got back to tip it away. Carter no more for his sniping than his passing. Tried to go to the pass there. It didn't turn out well. Doughty can get that ahead. Flyers still haven't gotten their bearings though as Voracek gets back. He misses Giroux with that pass, kept in by Muzzin. Now it ricochets down low. Here's Grossman reversing to Coburn. He gets the puck to Voracek, who ran into a King, but does maneuver it to Hartman, who with a dive gets it into the King zone. Into the final minute of this second period. Doughty, quick pass to Lewis. Lewis in the middle, Muzzin. Muzzin on the left wing, King. King going wide on strike, tried to center, could not. Tip back behind the net, and out the other side, here's Doughty. Plays it back in along Stoll. He's checked. Lewis to it. Lewis in front. Doughty tips it high and wide. To the corner it goes. Now it's King getting the puck to Stoll. And it's taken back by the Flyers, but not cleared. Here's Doughty. 15 seconds in the period. Doughty into the corner. Now the centering pass back out in front for Lewis is tipped. Good play there by Strait. He gets to it and maneuvers it out to the neutral zone. Kings get it back, but only 5 seconds remain in the period. They're going to hang right onto it. Perhaps one last shot here by Doughty that went off of Claude Giroux, who thinks he did it intentionally. Giroux on a beeline for Doughty right now. And little tenuous here as the guys skate past one another at the end of that period. But it is 1-0 Flyers through 2. Today's Flyers Kings second period was brought to you by Kia. To learn more, visit kia.com. And by the Pennsylvania Lottery. Tonight's Powerball jackpot now has an estimated annuity of $194 million. So play today. Pennsylvania Lottery proceeds benefit older Pennsylvanians. Players must be 18 years or older. Downstairs we go to a happy guy. And I'm not talking about Steve Coates.
Is it only fitting that you get your 100th goal in the National Hockey League against where it all started for you, the Los Angeles Kings? And tell us what your thoughts are as far as your excitement level.
Yeah, it's nice. I think I've been stuck on 99 for the last 5 games, and when I got that pass from Vinny and I saw the empty net, it was kind of just a sigh of relief, and I just wanted to put it through the back of the net.
When we talk about that goal, we all thought you were a little bit surprised to get that pass because you had to struggle a little bit to be able to hold on to that puck to be able to find the open net.
Well, you know what? I was just driving the net, and Vinny threw me a hard pass, and I just wanted to make sure I settled it down so that it wasn't bobbling or rolling or anything like that. I knew the net was empty. I just needed to put it in.
Simmer, congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jimmy, back to you.
And you know what? He nearly did put it through the back of the net once he fired the puck. John Borak, Al Morganti will discuss that goal and the rest of the second period as our coverage continues after these messages. It's been a physical game, and there's been some great goaltending. A low-scoring affair. There are your Sugar House Casino statistics through 2 periods.
Yeah, Flyers just 9 shots on goal through 2 periods. You saw Wayne Simmons' goal there, one of the few scoring chances for the Flyers. There's the block shots. LA Kings have been shooting and directing a lot of pucks towards the Flyers' goal. Flyers doing a good job of helping their goaltender out on rebound opportunities.
Wayne Simmons is the only goal scorer of the hockey game, his 18th of the year, which leads the Flyers with Cavalier and Giroux, both outstanding assists on the play, getting Wayne Simmons his 100th career NHL goal. Flyers with a paucity of shots on goal in this game. The scoreboard count is still incorrect. As you see, the Flyers 16-2-4. When leading after 2. The Flyers are just 9 shots on goal. That is a season low through the first 2 periods for the Flyers this year. Their all-time low for a game, 13 shots. So they need 4 shots here in the third to at least equal that. Steve Mason probably would appreciate the puck being down at the other end of the ice a little bit more as opposed to the last 5 minutes of that second period.
Yeah, that'll be the message from Craig Berube between periods. Flyers need to spend more time in the Kings zone, or it's going to be a real hectic finish to this one. And the Flyers had a couple turnovers late in that second period that led the chances for the Kings.
Underway in the third. Drew Doughty back to get the puck for the Kings as the all-star defenseman turns it over to Reed, who turns and fires. Shot blocked. As Muzzin got in the way of that, Flyers get it back. Reed trying to get that through to Doughty. Now the net is off its moorings as we come your way from downtown Los Angeles. Stop 2 in this 3-destination California swing for the Flyers, which ends in San Jose on Monday.
You guys talk about Mason and how well he has played, and what Craig Berube is like. Well, you know, when I went down to interview Wayne Simmons, all the players had a lot of accolades for that guy, saying, good going, Mason. They knew that he'd been the #1 reason that they're in this hockey game and leading right now 1-0.
Let's see if they can make it easier on him here in the third. As the puck deflects to the corner in the Los Angeles zone. It's Voracek getting to it. He's knocked down, gets back up, still has the puck. Tried to tip it back to the point, but that's intercepted. And Lewis will head the other way from the red line, snap it into the Philadelphia zone. Dwight King is on Coburn. The puck goes back to Stoll, who sends it to the other side of the ice, but Hartnell is there for Philadelphia. Maneuver it up to center. Cross ice, it goes off with Stoll. Grossman didn't see it initially. Now he just chops it into the Los Angeles zone. Voracek pursuing, lost his stick as he and Regeer came together. Jake still having trouble hanging on to the stick at times as he battles that injury, and has now gone 6 straight without a goal. So it's slowing down his scoring progress for sure.
There's no question about it. He is getting shots towards the net, but not with the same zip that he had on it going back a couple of weeks ago.
He has 3 of the Flyer 9 shots in this game, so you're right, he's getting a on goal. Here's Simmons after this puck, couldn't catch up to it. Quick tips it to the corner. Cavalier will turn it back down low. Schenn in after it. Got his stick on it, but it's controlled by Richards. Ahead, Dustin Brown, and he gets Justin Williams. Williams chopped that by Simmons. That knocks the puck free, but Dustin Brown able to recapture it. Now Mazaros tips it away. A little hesitation there, but Simmons does get to it, and now across ice for Schenn. Schenn turning with it at the line, and then stuffs it in on goal off the stick of Quick. Sends barrels after it in the corner. Is able to get the puck down low. Cavalier spinorama pass, but it's broken up by Green. And now Simmons loses his stick, and he can't do much here on the back check. Is moving up with the puck is Fraser for a shot that batted wide by Mason. Might have been going wide anyhow. Here's Gustafsson. Luke Schenn now up the middle. Raffles pass. After he gotten to by Ronaldo, it's sent back into the Philadelphia zone. Gustafsson will chip it. Adam Hall trying to seal off Jordan Nolan. Raffle into the pile. And the puck pushed forward by Nolan. Luke Schenn there. He is leaned on. Clifford. And now it's Hall who gets it. Off of Ronaldo into the Los Angeles zone. Back is Doughty. Quickly ahead, Fraser. His left wing feed for Clifford, but that's going to wind up in the skates of Coburn. Set ahead by Ronaldo. Raffle sidestepping a check. He's got Hall in front, but you see him now. Raffle around the other side. Changes direction. Centered it. Hall was there, but it got past him. Nifty little setup by Raffle, but the other way now Nolan, and he'll one hand into the Philadelphia zone. It's Grossman who gets there, keeps it away from forechecking King, and the Flyers will wind it up and out of the zone. Downey after it there, plays it around one King, and now tries to move through. He's checked to go to the middle. Shot! Glove! Save! Quick off of Couturier. And that keeps it a 1-0 game.
Nice job by Couturier there. Second period, the Flyers had some anxious moments and some really good moments. There's a turnover by Mark Streit. The missed opportunity by Dustin Brown. Huge contact by Sean Couturier there on Toffoli. Giroux defensively gets back and makes a great play, and Mason came up with a number of key saves, 4 of them in that sequence there as he laid out and kept the puck from going over the goal line.
By the time this game's over, we'll have that a 5-save sequence. It just keeps getting better.
There was a lot.
It really was a tremendous sequence for him where he showed that desperation. And he made the first one technically sound, and then at that point it starts to break down, and you just have to be desperate to make the save, and he certainly was. Dwight King long for Stoll. A battle in the corner. Couturier's in there. A couple other players join in. Mazaros has a man wrapped up. Puck in those skates. It's King who digs it out. Plays it right back in to the mess of skates. Finally, it's back out to Regehr. Gets toward the slot. King looking for it. And now Voracek should be able to clear. He does. Scoops it out through center. Regehr quickly back to Lewis. Lewis with all that speed and across the line. Swerves to the right wing. His shot is blocked by Gustafsson, who stayed right with him. Again, Gus's speed paying dividends. Puck bounces free here to King. Checked from behind by Streit. Couturier chopped at it and got it ahead. Matt Reed moving up towards center ice. Crisscrosses with Voracek, then tries to get in the puck. Voracek shouldered by Doughty, so he couldn't get through. And the Kings will play it back behind their own net. We've picked past the 4-minute mark of this third period. Still a 1-0 Philadelphia lead. Wayne Simmonds the only goal scorer. Nearly 2 minute men on the ice for the Kings. Now Raffl will get to the puck. Pushed it ahead. Now has it. Raffl moving to the middle. Turns and fires. Save made by Quick. And the Kings get it back. That puck deflected. Raffl just about reached it, but now it's sent out to the neutral zone. Grossman right back. Raffl has to get out of the zone. Flyers re-enter, but it was Muzzin getting in their way. Flyers keeping it alive again, but finally it does squirt to the neutral zone. Grossman will play it back in. Noticing some different line combinations for the Flyers.
Yeah,
here.
Michael Raffl double shifting there. He was out with his regular line and had a shift with Giroux and Hartnell. Why not the way he's played?
Oh, they say this is onside. Kopitar will go all the way around behind the Philadelphia net. Try to find Carter. Goes back to Green instead. And he couldn't get it through the traffic, so the Flyers will move back with it. Lecavalier for Simmonds. Simmonds, that Mitchell was going to step up on him, so he just played it into the Los Angeles zone. Green moves it ahead. Carter rink wide on the money to Brown. Brown sealed off by Luke Schenn, who also got the puck. Good defensive play there by Schenn. And now his brother will tip it deeper into the Los Angeles zone. He's going to go after it with Green. Green stopped shy of the check. He got it to Justin Williams, who charges out. Flyers sort of turn on him, and here's Williams in across the line. Ronaldo from behind, able to strip him with the puck. And then a body check to boot along the wall. Puck kept in the zone by Voinov, though. Back to Williams, who kicks it back to Voinov, who floats one wide. Now Brown to it. Behind the net, Richards. He's checked by Ronaldo. Still able to center it. Goes off the stick. Played by Williams. Let's Go Flyers chant picks up here at the Staples Center. It's greeted by boos, but the Let's Go Flyers chant is louder.
It is. Michael Raffl out there again for Craig Berube. Another shift for Raffl, this time back with his other two line mates.
We're going to test his stamina as well here. And there he is breaking up that play, although it still got through him, but the play is offside because he deflected the puck. 13:51 to play in the third.
1-0 the Flyers lead the Los Angeles Kings here in the third period. Let's take a look at our Hyundai save of the game. It came at the end of the second period as the Flyers and the Kings got together. Yeah, everybody was there. And Mason, not one, not two, maybe three. Okay, right there on Stoll. Maybe 4 saves right there. Some people say there might have been 6, but they don't count very well here in Los Angeles. It's right there. Mason with that. Our Hyundai saves of the game.
Yeah, Hyundai save sequence of the game.
Like a six-pack, Steve.
Yeah.
Mason's been good. He's had to be at times. Flyers trying to play down at the other end of the ice more here in the third. They still only have 1 shot on goal credited here in the third, though, so 10 for the game. They are stingy with shots here.
They are.
Here's Meszaros. That one, that's a bad save. I would assume that will register as a shot. Now Dwight King, checked by Streit and Hartnell. Back around behind. And we'll move it up the right wing to Lewis. His pass for Stoll, tipped by Meszaros, but Stoll still able to twirl it deep into the Philadelphia zone. Streit there. He's able to avoid King, and then outlet to Giroux. Good work by Streit, and Claude Giroux has some room. And he's at the end of his shift, so he's just going to play it into the right of Quick. That's Voinov. We'll move it ahead. Played to Kopitar, but he was checked. Gets it back. Ajay Kopitar, Slovenian. Into the Olympics. First time for Slovenia. And the puck on the boards. Chopped ahead to Downey. He'll skate it to center right and then fall. And from one knee, play it into the Los Angeles zone. It's Quick getting to Regehr. Regehr back around to the other side. Voinov will just dump it out to center ice. Grossman right back in. 12:35 remaining in this third period. Settled into center ice play right now. Flyers trying to bottle up the Kings. They couldn't get that one in. Second try though, hammer it deep into the Philadelphia zone, but he's now heading to the bench on a change. The pass for Simmons out of his reach goes all the way down the ice. It's going to be icing on Philadelphia.
Well, the 2014 NCAA Frozen Four is coming to the Wells Fargo Center on April the 10th and 12th, and tickets are on sale now. Secure access to 2 semifinal games and the national championship game, all included in the price of admission. A great chance to watch some NHL stars of the future.
Braden Shen ready for this draw with Mike Richards. And Shen is tossed. Lecavalier will step in. He's had his struggles on draws and didn't win this one as Richards got it to Brown. He fanned on one shot, turns it back down to Green. His shot blocked. Yet another block for the Flyers. Now Justin Williams. Zigging and zagging, changing direction, turning. He did get that puck through to Richards, who turns away from Simmons and fires. It was blocked at the side of the net. Richards gets it back, trying to bank it in. It went off of Mason, but he was able to keep it out. Flyers don't clear the zone. Mitchell keeps it in all the way across. Richards couldn't handle that one. Gustafson a bit of a hesitation, then he's run over from behind, and Richards will get to the puck. He is then hammered by Lecavalier. The puck up the wall to Mitchell. Mitchell, all kinds of room. He'll wind and fire. Pad save Mason. Flyers have lost their assignments a bit here. Williams back out across. Green shot. Save Mason. He's down trying to corral that puck. It's worked free, still loose, jammed ahead, and Simmons should get it out of the zone. He'll try to carry it to center. Mitchell able to get in his way, so he couldn't break in on quick. Simmons continues to battle Mitchell all the way into the zone, and now the Kings come back. There's Fraser off the left wing. Clifford's angle shot saved Mason all the way out to Raffl. His pass off the leg of Hall. It did make it to center ice. And sent back in. It went off for Ronaldo. Fraser passed to Clifford again. Clifford shot. Saved Mason. Rebound to Strike. Tucks it in along the wall. Raffl has it. Raffl ducked underneath most of that hit attempt from Jordan Nolan, and he hurts when he hits. I don't know how he saw him, but he got out of the way for the most part. Now the puck on the boards. Raffl being pestered by Fraser, trying to work free. Got it back out. Mazzaros lays it off on the other side of the ice for Strike. Winds, fakes, holds, and then by to fire, and Regier got his stick in there to deflect it out of play.
Some more good work in the offensive zone. Strike trying to fire that attempt. Michael Raffl's been all over the ice. Defensively in good position, and offensively making plays, showing great patience and wearing down some of the clock.
On the other end, it was Mason once again with this right pad save, but the Kings really crashing the net. And the one shot by Richards, it appeared might have blocked, but it was actually got its way through to Mason, and Mason had to hit him.
Draw it to the right of Quick. Almost halfway through this third period. And the Kings will get control. Doughty. Muzzin and ahead. That pass right back across to Doughty. Gains the line, then wipes out as Voracek got to him. Over and up along the wall for Voracek. Goes across ice. It's behind Giroux from the red line. He'll backhand in. Voracek tipping it toward the net, and Quick will cover up on that one. 2 seconds shy at the midpoint of this period.
Lots of that for the Flyers here to start this period. A much better job in the territorial play. And Craig Berube continues to roll all four lines, and the Flyers seem to have some better skating legs here and have done a nice job of gaining the red line and doing some work in the King zone.
They'll drop the puck to the left of Quick. Kopitar, Couturier. Oh, Sean almost played that puck when it was on the ice with his glove off a draw, and that rule came in because of a guy who plays for the Kings, right?
Yeah, Jared Stoll.
He did it time and time again in the playoffs a couple years back, right?
He did. He played an important role in the Kings Stanley Cup championship run, and faceoffs obviously a key when you're holding on to leads late. And Stoll was one of the best at using his hand to move the puck off some tied up draws.
So no longer can you do that without getting a penalty. And the instincts of these players as young players coming up has been always to do that. So it's very difficult to get out of that habit. Right there you saw Couturier think about it and then pull his glove back. Now the puck sent back into the Philadelphia zone. 9:15 on the clock. Both teams changing. Gustafson up the right wing boards. It's the red line. Takes a hit as he plays it in. Now it's Dustin Brown again. Braden Shen leaning on Regier. Luke Schenn to the puck, backhanding it, got it back down low, but Simmons couldn't knock it down. Cavalier flying over after that puck. Now Simmons works it free. Simmons checked, and it does make it out to center ice. Simmons trying to get it back, and he does. Simmons then missing Lecavalier though with that pass, and that makes this icing on Philadelphia.
Well, let's take a look at our Toyota turning point, and it's going to be the only goal of this hockey game. Wayne Simmons picks up his 100th goal of his career. Claude Giroux puts on the brakes, and all of a sudden, looks like, yes, it looks like, Lecavallier's going to take the shot, but no, he just fires a real nice pass over to Wayne Simmons. Simmons says he wasn't surprised as he tried to corral that pass from Lecavalier, but picks up his 100th, gives the Flyers a 1-0 lead, and that is our Toyota turning point of this afternoon's game.
That point shot by Muzzin goes wide. 61 goals with the Flyers, 39 with the Kings. The breakdown on the first 100 of Wayne Simmons' career. That is icing again on Philadelphia.
Yep, Simmons will stay on the ice here for another defensive zone faceoff. Lecavalier doing a nice job hustling over to get that puck. Just got a little too much of it. Sent it down the ice for another draw. One of the advantages for Craig Berube with this line on the ice is both Schenn and Lecavalier are center icemen. So should one get kicked out, he's got another to hop in there.
And the Kings able to control it. Doughty's shot, and that did not make it through. Dribbled to the boards and around behind the net. Gustafsson jabs at it. Simmons could not clear as that was kept in by the Kings, but the Flyers have it back now, and Gustafsson banking it ahead, and he's got Brayden Schenn, who's got Lecavalier with him, but couldn't get him the puck. And now Vinny on the far side. Not get there. It's Muzzin ahead. And now we'll drop it back for King. White King flipping one. Mason calmly making the save as he had a King leaning all over him. Still 1-0. All right, Eddie, thank you very much. Look forward to that. Look forward to the game tomorrow. Should be a good one. Great offense against great defense. That's always fun. How about this for switching places or trading places? Look at all of them going back and forth here. Former Kings now with the Flyers, former Flyers with the Kings. Ian LaPerriere, Flyers assistant coach, renewing acquaintances with some of the people here in LA earlier today, and we've already told you, of course, a lot about Richards and Carter and Simmons and Schenn.
Yeah, Williams doesn't get mentioned enough, probably.
He does
how
not.
important he's been to a couple of Stanley Cup championships teams, and one here with LA, where I thought he was outstanding during their cup.
He is. He's Mr. Clutch. How many game-winning goals has he had in the playoffs? And you know, for years, for 4 or 5 years, we talked about Justin. He's got a penalty being called.
You know what's going to happen? This is going to be the penalty where they're going to say Adam Hall shuffle the puck with his hand off of the faceoff.
We were just talking about this.
Here's Hall on the draw there, and he goes down, and he had
used his
both
stick.
hands on his stick at the time, and they felt that he made more contact with his glove hand. Let's take a look there.
He missed it.
Lower hand right there. He does use the glove. Even though he's holding the stick at the same time, he gets the call.
Ironic. We were just talking about
it too.
That second angle was, when you first look at it, he looked like he missed it and then got it.
Well, you lose a key penalty killer as well. So this dicey situation for the Flyers. Hall would be out there a lot of times taking a draw right here, and I don't know what, perhaps a timing issue here as they're over by the scorer's bench. Okay, we're good to go. So second power play of the game for the Kings. Only the third power play overall in this game. It's been physical, but it's been relatively clean. And off the draw, the Kings will control. It's Doughty across. One up the shot, deflection, save, Mason. Boy, they diagrammed the play perfectly, executed it perfectly, but Mason had an answer. Doughty now turning that puck to Carter. Carter waits, fires, save, Mason, and he calmly will hang right on to it.
Two great saves by Mason in the first 16 seconds of this Kings power play. It's a Foley tip here on Voinov's shot. What a save by Mason as he reacts and gets that one with the body, and then he's square to the Carter shot as well.
And you don't want Carter here. He's going to use, that was Coburn as a screen, and then to let that shot go from there. Mason got that one right in the belly. I don't care. That hurts.
Kings will start back up here as the Flyers did clear the zone. A right wing feed. Kopitar roaring on in. The shot high and wide. And it does get past Voinov and go all the way down. Well, the Kings again have to go full length of the ice. 40 seconds into the power play. Couturier wrestles the puck away from Doughty. Great play there. They'll drop it back and hang on to it as long as they can before Luke Schenn Sends it Quick's way. Now the Kings try to get settled here as we approach the midpoint of the man advantage. Boynoff, right wing feed, that's tipped, so the play is offside. Good read by the Flyers, no pun intended, by Matt Reed.
Well, the Flyers return home to face off against the Colorado Avalanche. Winners at 7-1 over Buffalo this afternoon. This Thursday at 7 o'clock, and then Saturday at 1 o'clock versus the Calgary Flames. Gets the final 2 home games before the Olympic break this week at the Wells Fargo Center.
Hey, Flyers in the midst of playing 6 consecutive games against Western teams. The final 5 before the Olympic break, and then San Jose on the other side of the Olympic break will be at the Wells Fargo Center. So 6 straight against the West, which has had the advantage over the East this year, but of late, the East has been making some inroads along those lines. Pittsburgh's been beating a lot of teams from the West. Boston some, the Flyers some. It's been interesting to see how that started to swing back a little bit. Here's Coburn. And he'll get the puck deep into the Los Angeles zone. Muzzin has to go back and get it. 50 seconds on the power play. Muzzin up the right wing. Play deep into the Philadelphia zone. Mason able to knock it down. He'll try the glass. It ricochets around. Muzzin could not keep it in. He's worked on by Couturier, but a great play by Mason right there. That was a tough get. And then he played it in an area where Couturier could get it out to center ice. 27 seconds left on the power play. Stoll move it in. The right wing feed for Williams. Williams buried by Grossman as Couturier will try the other side, or the Flyers will try the other side of the ice and clear it all the way down. That was Giroux, so the Flyers 10 seconds away from dodging a bullet here. Muzzin to Green and into the Philadelphia zone again. Mason able to get to it. He'll try the glass again, but that one goes right to Kopitar. Kopitar forced by Giroux, but that's due to Toffoli. Toffoli will drop it along the board. Giroux read that. He plays it to the other side of the ice. Flyers are back to full strength. Raffl tips, but it's lost by Gustafsson around behind the net. It's Carter. Jeff Carter centering off the skate. Toffoli got the shot off, and it might have hit something in front. Mason was trying to bat it away as well. It stayed out, and Mitchell has to play it in the neutral zone. Now Toffoli, but Carter beat the play in offside. 5 minutes, 31 seconds remain in the third. The Flyers 1-0 lead. Today's Flyers-Kings game is brought to you by Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. By Bud Light, it's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. And by Wells Fargo. When you're considering buying your first home, Wells Fargo is with you. Wells Fargo, together we go far. Well, we head toward a dramatic finish here. Flyers with the 1-0 lead. 5:31 remaining in the third. Steve Mason has stopped 31 Kings shots. Flyers have only fired 12 the way of Jonathan Quick in this game, but they have the lead. Muzzin finding that in. It makes its way behind the net. Grossman overskates, but Coburn is there. Over along the wall. It does get through Doughty thanks to Reed. It was kept in, but now Reed has the puck. At Reed, the left wing dish. Couturier in after. On Couturier. Circles the net. Gets it back to Coburn. Coburn will just shuttle it down low. There's Reed. Reed takes a look. Backhands it. Downey didn't get to that as Muzzin was there, but now it's Reed again to it, and finally Doughty ends his bid. And the Kings move up. Here's Kopitar. One-handed in. Coburn bumps into him. Kopitar kicks the puck to Carter. Had some room there momentarily. Takes the shot. Save Mason. Rebound to Foley. Save Mason again. And Couturier will send it up the wall. Lecavalier could not clear. Another shot. Save Mason with ease. That time off of Toffoli. And Downey is able to maneuver it to center ice, but he couldn't move too far with it. Carter had to wait for his mates to get out of the zone, or that would have been outside. And now Couturier will float one down. Lecavalier interfered with clearly by Regier. Could not get to that puck. 12-3 here in this period. The shots advantage. They've all been rejected by Mason thus far. 4:05 to play. Mason had a little trouble with that puck as it rolled on him, but he got it through. Simmons could not come away with that. And now 4 players scrum for it in the quarter. Simmons gets to it and turns it to Mazzaros. And ahead to Lecavalier. From the red line, he'll chip it in. Chen chases. Bounces off of Simmons back toward Braden Shen, but he is checked. Boy, the Kings do a great job in their own zone. They're physical, and they are on you. Now Mitchell running back with it. The team has allowed fewer goals per game than the Kings this year. Mike Richards up the left wing. He was swarmed upon, but still got that puck to Williams. This is where Williams can be very tricky. He escapes Giroux, hit the post! Hit the post! It came out the other side. That's Justin Williams. He is very dangerous. Now the arm is up and there's a penalty. And it's against the Kings. Delayed call against the Kings as the Flyers have the puck and the whistle's not blowing. Mason still not heading toward the bench. Now he will, as the Flyers hang on to the puck as long as they can here, because that kills as much time as possible off the clock. And now the Kings get there, and there's the whistle. 2:53 remaining, an interference penalty against the Kings.
Matt Green's going to pick it up on Jake Voracek as the Flyers recovered from the goalpost opportunity by Justin Williams. There's the move around Giroux and the wraparound attempt right off a body in front and then off the goalpost.
Well, the key here is that Giroux is going to try to come back and play along the goal line against Williams. Williams makes a nice move on him. Gustafsson looked around, hoping he was going to get help. He got it, but Giroux just got there a little bit too late, allowing Williams to be able to do that wraparound.
There's the interference call here as Voracek has the puck behind him when Matt Green makes contact. Good play and good call by the referee who made the decision to put his hand up.
Jake was in some pain there. He really got hammered. So the timeout called, and see how this plays out. But before we do, the top shelf performers brought to you by Mazda.
Wayne Simmons, goal number 100 on the season. Steve Mason, 34 saves. Ronaldo was outstanding in the early going. Haven't seen him as much lately. There's the numbers for Kopitar, and of course Robin Regehr playing his 1,000th career game. Jonathan Quick has had a quiet afternoon.
Remember, if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building.
It's true.
Face off here to the left of Quick. The Flyers are going to go with a combination here, as they will go with two defensemen, Streit and Mazzaros. Simmons, Giroux, Hartnell up front. And the Kings get the puck. And now Doughty lobbing one out to center ice. Mazzaros has to get on his horse, and he just able to beat Lewis. Boy, Lewis can really escape, but then the Flyers turn it over. Flyers with those 9 shorthanded goals allowed, they seem a bit jittery, and you know it's on their mind as Streit blasts it in. 2:30 remaining. Giroux dropping it back, and there's Streit. Across Mazzaros. Giroux back to Andre, and now the captain takes a look, and the shot is blocked by Doughty. Simmons to it. Back to Giroux, and now Simmons to the point. Mazzaros. Shuffle it off for Giroux. Giroux back for Mazzaros, across for Streit. Out high, Streit running out of room, so he'll turn it back the other way and pitch it into the corner. It bounces to Hartnell, in front, Giroux, he scores! And it's 2-0 Philadelphia as Claude Giroux hammers it home on the power play goal. Giroux scores for a case of Tasty Cake.
Great patience by Mark Streit up at the blue line as he patiently outweighted Trevor Lewis. It was the checker right there for the Kings. Didn't take it over the line, kept it in, got it deep, and then the Flyers were able to go to work. It's Simmons with the contact and the tip play on Regehr, and then the pass from Hartnell. Perfect for Claude Giroux, who buries the goal.
And give Mark Streit a lot of credit for being able to keep that puck in. He absolutely turned to the inside, allowing that puck to get into the corner. Got a little dangerous because they've had some problems with shorthanded goals, but right here they come back 2-on-1 down low, and Jonathan Quick can't get there in time as Giroux's a right-hand shot facing the net. He just takes the one-timer.
Oh, Giroux among the league leaders in power play points. It's his 6th power play goal, and he gives the Flyers a 2-goal lead. Still work to be done here as Quick heads to the bench. Extra attacker out for the Kings. They have 6 skaters on 5 here. Richards gets the puck to King. King back out to the point. Across it comes to Mitchell. He'll wind and fire, blocked by Raffl, who's able to chip it out to center ice. That awkward style of his, and he's in pain again. He did block the shot. King at the line. King's unable to get in across onside. They actually were offside there, but the puck played back out so they don't blow it down. And Mitchell will wind it in. Mason couldn't stop that when it bounced over his stick. Grossman will try it this side, but Mitchell is waiting for it. Mitchell back around down low. Grossman cuts that one off. Tries the other side. It gets knocked down. Now behind that, Toffoli trying to center. Toffoli is checked. Couturier will snap it up the glass, and it gets out to center and down the ice. Into the final minute we go. The Kings need 2 to equalize. Here's Doughty racing up with it. Drew Doughty to the Philadelphia line. Off on the right wing. Williams drops it back. Kopitar. Kopitar down low. Could not make a connection with Brown. Simmons sweeps at it. It bounces to Giroux. Giroux will move it ahead. Empty net, remember. Hartnell the deep. From the blue line, his shot is batted out of the air by Kopitar. 32 seconds remaining. Kopitar ahead. Williams sidesteps one check. Williams moving in. The shot. Rides high and off the glass. Bounces all the way down low now. And Stoll will play it around. It goes through Williams to the other side of the ice. Hartnell just occupying Kopitar. Now the arm is up. We've got a penalty. Didn't see this one. But it's against Philadelphia.
Looks like Gustafson's going to head over to the penalty box right now.
Philadelphia number 26, penalty sliding.
Take a look at our Bud Light player of the game, and it's the Flyer goaltender, Steve Mason, who has been a real busy guy in this one, as the Kings have had much of the territorial play in this game, but the Flyers netminder has come out with some outstanding saves. A terrific performance for Mason throughout. He was really battling in front of the net, and some plays in and around his feet on some deflections, and Mason found all the answers so far. There's the penalty to Gustafson that sent him off to the penalty box. Little slash there on Justin Williams.
17.4 seconds, 6 skaters on 4. They scrum for it. It comes free to Richards, tried to center, bounces back to him, goes all the way across to Carter. Carter holds his shot, save Mason, rebound in front. Shot tipped away as Toffoli couldn't finish. Now it comes back out, it'll go down the ice, and that will do it. And the Philadelphia Flyers have shut out the Los Angeles Kings 2-0. Steve Mason, his second career shutout against the Kings. His second in the last 3 games. The Kings becoming the first team since 1929 to have only 1 goal score over a 6-game span, as they are shut out again. Simmons gets his 100th goal. The Flyers with a 2-0 win.
And Steve Mason had a lot to do with that. Wayne Simmons was outstanding in this game. Giroux, you can see there, picked up a goal and an assist. And the Flyers found a way to get enough offense and stayed with the game plan here against the Kings team that's looking for goals and couldn't find any here.
They get the split here in the Los Angeles area. The rubber match will be in San Jose. That comes at you on Monday night. The Flyers and the Sharks. SAP Center. You know it is the Sharks Tank. Great atmosphere for hockey. Should be a lot of fun. Our coverage begins with the pregame show at 10 o'clock. This was a tough hockey game. A lot of hard hits, blocked shots, great goaltending. Steve Mason gets the job done with the shutout. Simmons the goal. Flyers win it. The entire crew, as well as Keith Jones and Steve Coates. I'm Jim Jackson. Good night from the Staples Center. Time now for the postgame show presented by McDonald's.